Okay. Thank Hashem that we're able to learn today. It's we're learning Hashem. Okay, we're going to start the bottom line of Hayvav on the page 86b, the bottom line. What's happening in the Mishnah? What happened in the Mishnah was that the husband is exempting his wife from taking an oath that she would possibly have to make later, and he's saying that at the marriage, he's saying that I'm not going to make you make any oaths. Gemara says, Shvua Mayavidate. What type of oath are we dealing with? That he would have made her take the oath, and now he's exempting her from the oath. Some Rav Yehuda, Rav Yehuda says the name of his teacher Rav, we're on the top of 87. Ala Petrofesh Shenases Bechaye Baila. Well, we discussed, not the previous Mishnah, but the one before that, we discussed that if the wife becomes a storekeeper, or if she's a caretaker of his businesses or whatever, so then the husband can make her take oaths at any point. What we're saying now is that the husband exempted her from taking any of these oaths. Nachman Amar, I just want to point out in the statement of Rabbi Yehuda Marav, there's two emphases there. One of them is that she became a Trappist, she became a caretaker or a storekeeper, let's say. And the other one is that it's Bechaye Baila while he's alive. Now, right now, all we did was we emphasized, a Trappist, that's the oath that we're dealing with. We're going to see soon that we had the emphasis wrong. Okay. Rav Nachman Amar Rabba bar Avua, Rav Nachman says in the name of his father-in-law and his teacher, Rabba bar Avua, ala Pegemus Ksubasa. It's talking about Pegemus Ksuba. Pegemus Ksuba is someone that it's the woman that decreases the value of the ksuba. She ruins the ksuba. Ksuba was a certain amount, and she's admitting that a certain amount was paid. The husband says the whole thing was paid, and she's admitting to part of it was paid. So she's paigim. I mean, she ruins the original strength of the ksuba. Well, that case, it sounds like a ma'id b'miktas, but it's not so clear that that's a ma'id b'miktas. We'll see in the Gemara. But there's a shvua on a pegemus ksuba that she has to take an oath. What type of oath is it? That the Gemara is going to explain. But what we're saying now is that the husband told her that she doesn't have to take an oath. That at the beginning of the marriage, she's not going to make her take oaths. Okay, so she doesn't have to take an oath.
She has to take an oath.
She has to take an oath.
Partially paid.
Yeah, she has to get the rest of it. It's similar to a ma'id b'miktas. But ma'id b'miktas works a little different, but. Yeah. The husband says, I paid you everything.
He's one of the she knew what she did.
Also, Rav Mordechai Amar Lishmait Kamid Rav Ashi. Rav Mordechai went. Okay, with us. Okay.
It's just weird. Usually, the mother of the next was claimed. Here,
yeah, very good. It's the Gemara's discussion about that. Very good.
Thank you.
Take the rest of his day off. Yeah, the guy arrived the other day. So he tells me. And Rosh Hashanah, you only have to say 2 of the V'chol Maminim. Because if you have so many schusim, you gave me a ride, you can skip the rest of the V'chol Maminim. Okay. So also Rav Mordechai Amar Lishmait Kamid Rav Ashi. Rav Mordechai says the following. Usually, what this expression means that he said over what was said. But in this case, it means he said over what we're about to say in front of Rav Ashi. What did he say? This is Bishlam Elamandam. Again, we had two opinions here. What oath the Mishnah was talking about that the husband is exempting her from. And Rav Yehuda, in the name of Rav, says that it's the oath of an apotropos, that the funds were not misappropriated. And Rav Nachman says it's the oath of the Pegemas Ksuba, the woman that's collecting part of her Ksuba. Bishlam Elamandam Rala Pegemas Ksuba. Rav Mordechai says, I get what's going on with Rav Nachman. He says that the oath was referring to Pegemas Ksuba. How would he end up? How would the husband saying that you're not going to have to take that oath? Well, the Maska Daita, she already knew Dilma Mitzdarchli Azuzi. Maybe I'm going to need some small change, and I'll end up taking from the Ksuba, which means that she knows that a Ksuba exists. She's just married. She wants to have some extra spending money. She wants to do some extra things. So she says, you know what, just take it off my Ksuba. So at the beginning of the marriage, she knew that she may end up doing that. And he said, I'm not going to make you swear afterwards that you're paying the ksuba. Now you're going to want to collect the rest of it. And you're going to have to take an oath to get what the remaining. It says you don't have to take that oath. V'amalei, she says to him, write for me, there's a document here. Write for me, that's what the Mishnah was talking about, that was the document. That he's not going to make you swear. Write for me that you're not going to make me swear. Oh, if we're talking about that she becomes a storekeeper or a caretaker of his possessions, how does she know? How does she know that later on he was going to ask her to take over a store that he didn't even have yet? Now it could be that she did know. But that would not be the general case. That at the beginning of the marriage, she should tell him to write in a document that she should not have to swear about the store that they didn't even start yet. Right. So, Amar Le, Rav Ashi says to Rav Mordechai on the question, he basically asked the question on the shot of Rav Yehuda Marav. So Rav Ashi says back, Atuna hamasnisala, anana hamasninala. He learned it on the wrong part of the Mishnah. So the whole premise is off. He says, what we learned it on was the end of the Mishnah. The end of the Mishnah says, she goes, her husband passed away, and she goes from the burial back to her father's house. She goes to her in-laws' house. And she does not become an apotropos over anything. The inheritors can't make her swear. And if she does, about what happened with the funds previously. But if she does become an apotropos from then on over something of the estate, then they can only make her swear in the future, but not on the past. Now, this is very interesting. The Gemara started off at what we just started today on Pevav. Shavua Maya Vidite. What type of oath are we dealing with? Now the Gemara is adjusting it. Rav Ashi is adjusting it. Not Shavua Maya Vidite. She'avar Maya Vidite. What are you talking about on the past? The letters are almost the same, right? Amarav Yehuda Amarav al apotropos shenasas b'chaye baila. We're talking about apotropos b'chaye baila. Now you see the emphasis of Rav Yehuda Amarav al apotropos shenasas b'chaye baila. The b'chaye baila was the emphasis. That it was while he was alive, because now he's not alive anymore. And she would be aval bein misa l'kvura mashbinan la. According to Rav Yehuda Amarav, if she did anything with the funds, or if they think that she did something with the fund, they can make her swear after the death of the husband.
About what happened.
About what happened with those after the death, right? Not
right
before.
to the ocean and no greater than the rights of their father.
Right. Correct. They can, however, they can make her swear after the death. even though it's not the future. They can make her swear what's going to happen in the future. No, they can't make her swear what's happened in the future. They can make her swear. The future over here means after the burial, and the past means between death and burial. Could be a few hours. Could be a few hours. Could be right. And my Rav Yehuda says, "Abu ben Misa lekura mashpinana," that they can make her swear. It already becomes the possessions of the orphans. Rav Masna Rafilu ben Misa lekura mashpinana. Rav Masna argues with this detail of Rav Yehuda, and he says that they cannot make her swear what happened before the burial. Why? The Amri Nardai, because Nardai says Lakarga when it comes to head tax, and Mazaini when it comes to food. Lakfura, and for a burial, there's Avnin and Bloyachrasta we sell without making an announcement. That means that a lot of times things get sold for the wrong price because of the mad rush that they have to pay the tax or for the burial. And they can't make her swear that she did it properly and all of this because of the rush. She can't be held accountable for that. Yeah. That's how the salesman. The deal's going to be over. You only have 2 seconds left to sign. Quickly sign it. So you're going to lose. It's going to double the price. Okay. We missed one point over here. So what really was going on in the Mishnah when he said that he takes her up from a shvua, if that's not what we're talking about now? What's going on in the Mishnah was that he tells her that she won't have to swear because of a pegemes ksuba. That was Rav Nachman's pshat. In other words, if we would actually take that Gemara serious, shvua mayavidite, we would only have one answer. Rav Nachman says, al pegemes ksuba. She knows she may need change. She doesn't want to have to take an oath when she has to get the rest of the ksuba. He wrote to her that she won't have to take an oath. What about when it says at the end of the Mishnah that he has to swear that bein misa lekura, if she goes from kever baila lebesavia, so then she will only swear ala asabavai after the burial. What about before the burial? So Rabbi Yehuda says that she does have to swear, and Rabbi Masna says she doesn't. Amar Rabba, Amar Abchia. Now we're going to just be discussing language. What this means if the statement that the husband said was the following. It says, without any oaths, without any vows, without any oaths. What does that mean? It means that he can't make her swear. But that doesn't mean that the inheritors can't make her swear. Naki neder, naki shvua. Naki means clean from. You're clean from a oath, from a vow. You're clean from an oath. That means bein hu bein yarshami mashpia naisa. That is just legal terms. So this is even the inheritors can't make a swear. And hachikamar, this is what he means to say, menakas mishvasa. You're totally exempt from taking an oath. Doesn't matter from who's imposing it. Rav Yosef Amar Rav Chia. Rav Yosef Amar Rav Chia. Rav Yosef says the name of Rav Chia. See, that was Rabba in the name of Rav Chia. Rav Yosef in the name Rabba and Rav Yosef are friends. Rav Yosef in the name of Rav Chia says the loy neder, the loy shvuhu, any yachalash bi'avol yashim mashpianis. I agree with you about the first part. But if he says no oath, no vow, no oath, he can't make her swear, but the inheritors can. Naki neder, naki shvua, you're exempt from an oath. You're clean from an oath. You're clean from a vow. Bein hu bein yashim mashpianis. It's exactly the opposite. Right. Why? What he means to say is naki nafshach b'shvasa. You'll clean with an oath. He tricked her. Follow? Yeah. In Hebrew, the word naki means clean. No, it doesn't mean that she is exempt from taking an oath, or when she takes an oath, she'll be clean. Those are opposite. interpretations. So Rabbah said that it means that she would be exempt from taking an oath, and Rebbeisa said it means that after the oath she'll be clean.
Would it be Nakia?
I'm sorry?
If it's female, wouldn't it be Nakia? Or just short?
You're saying it's like one of these infinitive, like it doesn't have any.
No, I know.
Lucky is what are the vowels?
No, it's on hold.
No, Naki. He's putting a dugish in the quote. It's Naki nafsha. That means that it's like an imperative, like clean yourself. It's an objective. It's telling her what to do. But wouldn't it be Nakia? No. Yeah. Oh. It's not an adjective. Clear yourself.
So why not you say
Does that make- No, that would be the first pshat, that which is fine. But now in Rabbi Yosef's pshat, he's talking not about the shul, he's talking about her. You'll be clean. But we're saying it doesn't mean you'll be clean, it means clean yourself. The imperative. Okay. Shalach Reb Zakkai Lamar Ukva. Reb Zakkai said he sent to Marukva. What's the Dayan in the days of Shmuel, I think. Bein de loy shvua, bein de naki shvua, bein de loy neder, bein de naki neder. Doesn't matter which expression it was. Benichse, what's that, Aleph? Minichse, from his own possession to in yachal ashpia. Avol yarshim ashpia naisa. Oh, if he says that you're clean, or there's no oath regarding my possessions, so then he can't make her swear, but the inheritors can make her swear. But if he says from these possessions, you don't have to take an oath. So then he didn't limit it to himself. It's just on the possessions, and then anyone can't make her make an oath. Amar Rav Nachman Amar Shmuel Mishum Abishol ben Ema Miriam. This is a new name for us. Rav Nachman says the name of Shmuel in the name of Abishol, the son of Ema Miriam. Bein delay shvua, bein denaki shvua, bein delay neder, bein denaki neder, bein minichsei, bein minichsei elain, bein hu bein yashavim mashpiyan isa. Says he holds that they never have, that if he, whatever expression is, no one can make him take an oath because he exempted her from the oath. Whatever it is. These possessions, my possessions, what can I do though? The sages said that if you want to collect from the orphans, you do have to swear. Even though he holds that you don't have to swear because the father exempted this woman from swearing. But the sages would say that when you come to take from the orphans, you would have to swear. The Ikadamrila, some say that it wasn't Rav Nachman in the name of Shmuel that said this, it was actually Masnisa, Abishol ben Ema Miriam. He's a Tana, and he said it in a Brisa, And he says, Amar bein delishva bein nakishva bein ned bein delined bein nakined bein minakse bein minakse bein hu bein yasha a mashpian isa. Abal ma'aser shem chacham abal ipam nechsisam liyapel b'shvua. The exact same statement, but where does Rav Nachman Amar Shmuel come in? Is Amar Rav Nachman Amar Shmuel halacha k'benei Miriam, the halacha like Kapashal, the son of Miriam, that she would be exempt from a shvua, even when she's collecting from the orphans. Okay. Now we have the Mishnah that we've been discussing. We've been quoting it. You see, not necessarily the division of the Mishnah and where the Gemaras were put in is so accurate. It could have been that the whole parak was supposed to be at the beginning, then all the Gemara of all the Mishnah. But they try to help us out and they divided up the Mishnahs to make it more closer to each Gemara. But we've been quoting this Mishnah a few times, so whatever. We find that in certain prints, like Perek Chelek, I think, has the whole parak at the beginning, all the Mishnahs, so the whole thing, and then the rest of the parak is just. All right. Yeah. And then you have the Gemara. Right. Okay. Hapegemes ksubasa. If someone ruins her ksuba by saying, we'll see what it means soon, but she's going to say that she doesn't, that the ksuba does not need to be paid in full. She was already paid part of it. When she's coming to collect the rest, she has to take an oath. The husband is denying that he owes anything. He claims he doesn't owe anything. If there's one witness that says, you were paid already, goes to the woman, and she says, no, I wasn't. So because one witness cannot cause anything financial, anything certain financially, but he can cause that someone should have to take a shvur. Let's say she's collecting from the orphans. The Bach just switches the order here. Or she's collecting from someone that had already purchased the field. Or she's collecting, the husband's not around. So then she has to take an oath. What's the case of Pigemis? Where she ruins her ksuba. The ksuba was 1,000 zuz. The husband was a generous fellow. And he says, I'm going to give you a ksuba of 1,000 zuz. And he says to her, I paid you already. And she says, I only got one mana. That's 100. You owe me another 900. For her to collect, it's going to be an oath. She has to make an oath. One witness says that she was paid. What's the case over there? Well, ksuba was 1,000 zuz. He says you already received the whole ksuba. She says, I didn't receive anything. There's one witness that says, I was there. I saw that he paid you. When she's going to be collecting now, if she takes an oath, she can get the whole ksuba. The whole ksuba. No, I guess the whole thing. No, well, here it's 1,000. She's collecting from property that was sold already. He sold his properties. She's coming to the purchaser. Say you bought a field that really had a lien on it. So for my ksuba, she has to take an oath. Now, what's going on now is that he's not saying that you were paid. The Bezdin is saying, this is called Taninan, that the Bezdin puts a claim for him that he doesn't know that he doesn't know these facts. See, normally, when would she need to take an oath if the husband says you were paid already? Or if one witness says you were paid already, right? No, if the husband says you were paid, then it's just him against her. She has the document. Okay, who has the document here? That's an interesting point. Okay, whatever the case is, she would need to take an oath. if she agreed that part of it was paid, or if one witness said that it was all paid. And over here, even though the purchaser doesn't know what was paid or not, nevertheless, she has to take a note that it wasn't paid. Same applies if she's collecting from the inheritors. Kate said, what's the case? She can only collect if she takes a note. So in front of Kate said, what's the case? Not in front of him. He went on a trip overseas. And she's collecting a ksuba. In the she has to take a note.
They heard that he died.
Not necessarily. He divorced her, could be divorced her before. Now she's collecting, or sent to get. So let's get maybe get in scams. Sends a get from overseas. Right. Geo. Get it. Shimon says, Kolzman Shiti Vas Ksubasa. Whenever she's claiming her ksuba, a Yoshim must be a nisa. Then the inheritors make her swear. If she's not claiming it, Umar is going to have to explain what this is referring to. In a Yoshim must be a nisa, the inheritors don't make her swear. Right. That's what it seems. If the husband said you don't have to swear to me, yeah. If the Yarshim are right. However, there were cases in the Mishnah before where even the orphans cannot make her swear. But this is if he said that to me you don't have to swear. But the orphans, yes, and then over here the orphans would make her swear. Savar Rami Bar Chama Lamei Mashvud Deraisa. What's the oath of a Pegemas Ksubasa? It's a Shvud Deraisa. It's a biblical oath. The Katan Messiah, he's claiming 200. We said it was really 1,000. The Kamay Delay B'meya, and she's admitting to 100. That's called the Maida B'miktas. And the rule by a Maida Miktas, we call Maida Miktas Atayna Yishava. That's the rule in general. If someone says the Reuben says the Shimon, you owe me money, you owe me 200. So Shimon says, no, I only owe you 100. So in order for Shimon to be exempt of paying the other 100, he's only going to pay 100. He's exempt from the other 100. He has to take it up. It might have been mitzvahs. Yeah. I think that maybe he's really agreeing, but he agrees that he owes, but he's just avoiding paying because he doesn't have all the money, and the way he gets out of it is by saying this partial lie that I don't owe you the whole thing. So we make him take an oath to make sure that he should say that he owes the whole thing and he's only paying part of it because that's what he has, and not that he doesn't owe the other part. The borrower has to take the oath. And that exempts him. It exempts him from paying. Okay, Amar Rava state Shuvas B'davar. Rava says there's two questions. Over here, Tshuva means question. Two problem. What's the problem? First of all, the Kol Nishban Shabbater Nishban V'le Mishalman. V'hi Nishbas V'nei tell us. You got it wrong. The way a biblical oath works is that when he was going to be exempt, he makes the oath. What's this woman doing? She's taking an oath. She's taking an oath and collecting. It's the oath on the wrong person. We don't have biblical oaths that work like that. But another issue is the fact is that her ksuba has a lien on property. We have a rule. It's based on psukim that we don't swear on property. And she can collect from property. She can't take an oath. Now, so therefore, the oath here is a rabbinic oath, not a biblical oath. What's the difference if it's rabbinic or biblical? It's learned from Sukkim. I don't remember that. Then Inishban al Abadim Bakakais. Like saying Shmuel and Rabbi Akiva, they went together, right? Had to do it. Do it. Sukkim that they learn. Say Riba Miyat Riba or Klal Klal. It's one of those things.
The other one is trying to get Moitzi. So, who's the owner?
I'm not sure. I think it was based on Sukkim. In the possible of Kolab, Sal, Salma, whatever. That Al Dvar Lakim Yavid Barshnaya. Yeah.
It's not a click. It would be a click.
Okay. Rabbi says that this is a rabbinic, a rabbinical, not a biblical. What's the difference? So Rashi said, let me say this. On the next page, Rashi says the difference between on the top of the next page, Rashi says, Shvua Deraisa, you have to use Hashem's name, you have to hold the Sefer Torah. It's very strict. Shvua Derabanan is just a curse. You know, it says it's a curse on him if he doesn't. It's not true, but it's not. He does not holding the Sefer Torah and using Hashem's name. Okay. Rashi over here says that what's the difference between a Shvua Deraisa or not is can you flip the Shvua around to the other person? Shvua Deraisa can never be flipped. So what that means. Okay. In other words, if one person can't swear, can you say, okay, the other person will swear instead? I guess not. So Rabba says, what's the reason for this? The para dayak, the mipra lay dayak. Rabban and Shmuel like What happens is when a person has to pay a debt, he remembers every cent that he paid. The person that's getting paid doesn't always remember all those details. It's a lot harder for the person to pay than the person that's collecting. It just puts it in his wallet, whatever. So we say that no. This woman is being paid for her ksuba. Her ksuba is being paid. She doesn't remember every detail, but because she now knows that she's going to have to make a shvua when she's going to collect the rest, she's going to have to make sure she remembers every detail. So that's why the rabbis imposed this. Ibailo. Where's the question? Let's say the husband paid part of the ksuba with Eidim. Two witnesses. So the question is like this: Im isa de para be'idim avi paralel. Look at the way the husband's behaving here. He's not trusting himself or her about paying her. He had to get Eidim here to show that he was paying. If he would have paid the rest, there would be Eidim about that as well. Where are those Eidim? Obviously, he didn't pay the rest. She should not have to make a shvua. Dilma is Shramilay. Or maybe it's not that he went out and he got the Eidim. There happened to be Eidim there. Now you're going to say that she doesn't have to make an oath because it happened to be the first half that he paid was happened to have Eidim. He didn't have Eidim the next time, but he paid her. He's telling she should make an oath. Tashma, so come and listen. The way a biblical oath works is that the person takes the oath and then he doesn't have to pay. He exempts him from paying. That's what we saw by the Maida B'mitzvahs, right? But the following would go the other way, where they take an oath and they actually collect. It means they're rabbinic oaths. A worker. that says, pay me. The employer says, I paid you already. He says, no, you didn't. So he takes an oath and he gets paid. Vanigzal, the person that claims something was stolen from him. So he takes an oath and he takes from the person how much the value was. We know that he went in and he says, and we know that he took something, we don't know what it was, so the person has to take an oath on its value. We see a guy going into the house and walking out with the bag. So Vanechbal, and someone that was hurt, he claims that he didn't do it, but we saw him go in unbruised and come out bruised. So he takes an oath, and then the person has to pay him. And the same thing would apply if the opposite person, the person that's denying the claim, can't swear because we don't trust his oath. So we'll make the other person swear and collect. Sounds like the biblical oath. But the Chenmeni al Pinkasi. Chenmeni al Pinkasi is the interesting case where someone tells his worker, I owe you money, but go take food from the store on credit. And then the storekeeper says, I gave him. The worker says, I never received. And so they're both coming to the employer. And the storekeeper says, pay me for what I gave him. And he said, pay me for the work. I never got the money. I never got the item. So he has to pay both of them. Both of them swear and he pays both of them. Let's say someone ruins the document by saying that part of it was paid without Adam. Part of it was paid without Adam. Now here's the emphasis. See what just happened? Part of it was paid without Adam. Shaloi be'edim in. That's when she has to make an oath, because there weren't witnesses there when the partial payment was taken, was given. Be'edim, but if it's be'edim lai, if there were witnesses there at part of the payment, then we say that why weren't there witnesses at the other part of the payment? She shouldn't have to take an oath. The Gemara says, nope, you got it wrong. Blame me by you come. But really what that meant was not only blame me by the Adam, right? Not only if there would be Adam, that that for sure she would have to take an oath. We have an opposite svar over here. Someone finds a lost object, a wallet, and he returns it. And the person says, thank you very much for returning the wallet, but you took $5. I had 100, there's only 95 in it. So we have the rule that he doesn't have to take an oath because he's returning it. Or else every time he returns it, even if he returned 100, the guy's going to say there was 200. He's going to claim, and then he's going to impose on it's like Good Samaritan laws. You can't do that to him. He's being Meshiv Aveda. So here, there were no witnesses that part of it was paid. Part of the Kesubos was paid. She's saying part of it was paid. So she's like a Meshiv Aveda. And now you're going to make her swear. Meshiv Aveda is returning lost object. Now you're going to make her swear. She was doing it on her own goodwill. She should put the Good Samaritan law, even though there were no witnesses. She should not have to swear. Because there were no witnesses, she should not have. We're saying even though there are no witnesses, she does have to swear. Not only when there's no witnesses, she does have to swear, but even when there's no witnesses, she does have to swear. Okay. Iboilu, there's another question. She's so accurate. Every detail she has calculated. No, on this day you paid me this, on this day you paid me that, less than a Shavapruta, less than the smallest amount. So we see that she's Medayah. Do we say that this is not what we were worried about? She should not have to take an oath because we see how careful she is. She's got it all the details. Or maybe she's just trying to trick us. She's telling us, no, it was 42 cents on that day. It was something else on another day. Teiku. We don't have an answer to that question. This is an interesting question. Instead of saying that you paid me part of it, she says that it was never the full value of what the document says. Do we say that that's actually pagemis? She's diminishing the amount of the ksuba. Pagemis is saying, I'm agreeing part of it was paid. But this, she's not admitting to partial payment. She's just saying that it was never the original amount. Tashima, let's take a look. We have an example of him. Pecheses, someone that diminishes the amount of the ksuba tifar shlei b'shvua. She's paid without an oath. Ketzad. How does this work? Let's say the ksuba was 1,000 zuz. The document said that when, in case of divorce or death, she's going to get 1,000 zuz. And he tells her, I paid you already all 1,000. She says, I didn't get anything from you, but I should just let you know the truth is, that really what we made up was only 100. That's the whole ksuba. But I didn't get anything from you. So is she considered a mixas here? Well, nefrash le'b'shua, the rule is that she collects the 100 without an oath. Am I gavya? What strength does she have that she can collect? The haishtara. She's using that document. Haishtara chas b'valmu. The document is nothing. It's a piece of clay shard, pottery. You see, it's not a good document. She herself is saying it's not good. Amarava, rei derabba, baimeres amana haisali, beini lebeinai. I had the document, but we had a trust here that the document was not, that I would not use the document, even though the document is a real document. He trusted me that the real debt was only going to be 100, and I'm coming forward and saying that that's what it really was, even though the document was an actual document for much more than that. Okay. Yeah. Let me leave it over here. So get ready for that. Yeah, can we learn tomorrow at 9? 10. We'll stop at 10 to 10. No, yeah. Starting 10 to 9, 10 to 9 is Karbanas. 9 o'clock is the time. Tomorrow morning. Okay.
So could-
Easy fast,
could you do that
everyone.
tomorrow? Oh, okay.
Maximum